Have you ever had to sleep on a financial decision before your bank account made the decision for you? Because that was me this week. I was this close to booking a last minute trip to New Orleans for Essence Fest. And listen, I could already hear the music, smell the gumbo, and feel the energy, and picture myself walking around the convention center, taking it all in. But when I woke up the next morning, I said, wait a minute, this money already has an assignment. Today, we're talking about retirement strategy, but not in a stiff, boring, or complicated way. We are going to make this practical because most people have a 401k or an IRA or some type of retirement account, but many people do not have a retirement strategy. Welcome back to Intentional Wealth with Tiffany Tippins, the podcast where your money is aligned with purpose and your wealth is built with strategy, legacy, and intention. I'm your host, Tiffany Tippins. Let me go back to New Orleans for a second, because this is exactly how money leaks happen. I saw a flight that looked reasonable, Dallas to New Orleans, Essence Fest weekend. I'm ready for it. I started thinking, you know what, I could go. I need a break. I've been busy. I deserve to do something fun. It's the holiday weekend. And that was all true. I could picture the whole experience as I have time after time walking through the French Quarter, smelling those grilled oysters or beignets in the air. I love Essence Fest and the excitement it brings. The conversations, the new people you meet, the energy, everyone is coming together, celebrating, learning, networking, and enjoying themselves. It was very easy to justify. But after I slept on it, I realized, you know what? I already have a vacation coming up. I do not need to turn a last minute want into a financial leap just because the opportunity showed up. And that is the thing about money leaks. They do not discriminate. It does not matter if you are a financial professional like myself, a business owner, a high earner, a working woman, or a retiree. Money leaks can happen to all of us. They show up as last minute trips, convenient spending, emotional purchases, life creeps, tax surprises, and retirement accounts we never check. And sometimes the leak is not that you spent the money. Sometimes the leak is that you spent money without asking, what job does this dollar have right now? That is what I had to ask myself. Is this New Orleans money, or is this the money that needs to be repurposed for something else? I'm still here, so I chose to repurpose it. So you may be thinking, what does a last minute Essence Fest trip have to do with retirement? Everything. Because retirement planning is not just about putting money away. It is about giving that money a job. It is about knowing what that dollar is supposed to do today, what it needs to do tomorrow, and what you needed to do when your paycheck changes or stops. If we do not assign our money a job, it will find one. And sometimes it will find a job that supports our current lifestyle, but steals from our future lifestyle. This is why retirement accounts need more than contribution. They need a strategy. Here's where I want to make this very simple. Your 401k, IRA, SEP IRA, all of those are accounts. Think of them like containers. A container is important, but the container is not the meal. Imagine if I handed you a cooking pot. That does not mean dinner is ready. We still need to know what ingredients are inside, whether they're seasoned, how much they're seasoned, how long we need to cook, and whether the meal is going to be nourishing or not. Your retirement works the same way. So having a 401k does not automatically mean you have a retirement strategy. Having an IRA does not automatically mean your money is invested appropriately. Nor is having life insurance automatically mean it's designed properly. And having real estate does not automatically mean it will create the income you expect. The account is the container. The strategy is how your money is invested, how it is taxed, how it is protected, how it grows, how you will access it. And you also have to consider how it will fit in with your healthcare costs and how it will fit in with the life you actually want to live. That is where many people are missing the mark. They check the box. They say, I put $50 in my account. I put $100 in my account. I'm contributing to my 401k. So I'm doing the thing. And I want to celebrate that because starting is important. But where that money goes matters. How it is invested matters. And how much risk you are taking matters. You have to consider how much tax flexibility you are creating and whether all your money is sitting in the same tax bucket. All those things matter. Checking the box is not the same as building a plan. Let me give you an easy way to think about this. Imagine you have two $100 bills sitting on the table. One is a pre-tax dollar. That means taxes have not been paid on it yet. It may be sitting in a traditional 401k or a traditional IRA or another pre-tax retirement account. The other is an after-tax dollar. That means taxes have already been paid, and now that dollar can potentially grow or be used differently depending on where you place it. Those $2 are not the same. A pre-tax dollar may be powerful because it may reduce taxable income today and allow more money to go into the account now. But when you pull that money out later, taxes generally come with it. An after-tax dollar may feel smaller at first because the taxes were already taken out of it. But the after-tax dollar can create flexibility. It can go into a Roth account, or it can be used for certain insurance strategies. It could also be used towards real estate or things like building your savings or investments that may give you more options later. And in a high inflation environment like we're finding ourselves in today, flexibility matters. Because when groceries cost more, utilities cost more, travel costs more, every dollar has to stretch further. But every dollar does not stretch the same way. A dollar that still has taxes attached to it is not the same as the dollar that already has dealt with taxes. That is why I do not want people to only think, how much do I have to save? I want them to also ask themselves, how much will this money be taxed when I need to use it? What bucket is it in? What choices will I have when I need income? What happens if tax rates change? Or if I choose to retire earlier than expected? What happens if I sell my business? And what happens if I need to help a parent, a child, or myself? That is strategy, my friend. Now, I want to be very clear. I am not saying traditional retirement accounts are bad. I love a good 401k and an employer who matches what their employee contributes. I actually love it when people use their workplace benefits because many people leave money on the table simply because they never took the time to understand what was available to them. As a former 401k administrator and a benefits manager, I know how these benefits matter and how they can make a difference. Traditional pre-tax accounts can be a beautiful part of the plan, but they are not the whole plan. For many people, the traditional account is only half of the strategy, and sometimes it's less than half, depending on their goals, tax situation, their income, and family needs. If every retirement dollar you have is in a pre-tax account, then you may have built savings, but you may not have built tax flexibility. That means when retirement comes, you may be forced to pull money from accounts where every dollar is taxable. That can affect your tax bracket. It can also affect your Medicare premiums, taxation on your Social Security, and the amount of net spendable income you actually have. And remember, Retirement is not about the account balance you see on your statement. Retirement is about the income you actually use. So there is a difference between $500,000 on a statement and $500,000 that has to be shared with taxes over time. There is a difference between $1 million all in a pre-tax account and $1 million spread across different tax buckets with a thoughtful withdrawal plan. That is why strategy matters. One of the first tools people should understand is the Roth account. A Roth IRA or Roth 401k is funded with after tax dollars. That means you do not get the same upfront tax deductions that you may get with a traditional pre tax contribution. But if the rules are met, qualified withdrawals can be tax free later. That is powerful. But again, I do not want people just chasing buzzwords. Roth is not automatically right for everybody in every situation. So it depends on your income, your tax bracket, your cash flow, the timing, your eligibility, and whether you are still working, whether you own a business, and whether you expect your tax rate to be higher or lower later, and how this fits in with your overall plan. Sometimes Roth contributions make sense, and sometimes Roth conversions make sense. While other times you have to be very careful because converting too much in one year can create a tax problem that could have been avoided with planning. So Roth can be a great strategy, but it should be coordinated. It should not be a random move because someone said it online or because you heard everybody needs to convert to a Roth. Everybody does not need the same strategy. Everybody needs the right strategy for their numbers. Now, let's talk about life insurance because I know this is where people either get excited or skeptical. And let me say this clearly, I am not here to sell you life insurance in this episode. I am here to help you understand that life insurance can be a tool inside a broader strategy when it's designed properly, funded properly, explained properly, and used for the right reason. So this is a difference between me and some other advisors that may not have the same capacity as I do in my registered investment advisory practice. That means the recommendations need to be made in the client's best interest, not because a product sounds good and not because it's trending on social media, and definitely not because it benefits me. A prudent recommendation should consider the client's full financial picture, including their cash flow, taxes, investments, insurance needs, what goals they have for themselves or their families, definitely their risk tolerance, and long term sustainability. This is why I want people to be very careful with social media reels that say things like, get tax free income from life insurance. Now, there is truth inside that statement. There can be certain permanent life insurance policies can build cash value. Policy loans and withdrawals may be accessed in a tax advantage way when the policy is structured and maintained correctly. But that is not the full picture. The full picture includes the cost of insurance, the premium contract, the policy design, the health underwriting. Many people forget about that. The internal charges, the loan interest, and what happens if the policy performs. You also have to think about things like, what if the policy lapses? Or what happens if I can't keep funding it? What happens if I borrow too much? And you also have to consider what happens if this is being positioned as an investment replacement when it may be better used as a part of protection, tax, income, or estate planning. That is the conversation a prudent professional should be having with their client, not just look at this tax free income, because the shiny part is not the whole strategy. Yes, life insurance can be a powerful tool for protection, for legacy building, business planning, and tax diversification. It can also possibly supplement income when used appropriate, but it is not magic. It is not free money, and it is not a one size fits all. It should never be purchased because you saw it on Instagram through a 30-second reel and someone made it sound easy. So the question is not, is life insurance good or bad? The question is, does this tool fit the plan, the person, the purpose, and the numbers? Now, here's another strategy that I love, and it often gets left out of the retirement conversation, and that is real estate. I am an advisor who loves real estate and feels that it should be a part of someone's portfolio, but we have to consider how it is used. So, hear me clearly. I'm not saying everybody needs to become a landlord. Everybody does not want tenants, toilet repairs, vacancies, property taxes, or insurance increases and maintenance costs. I've been there. I've been a landlord, and I'm not at the place where I want to be one now. But real estate can still be a part of your strategy. Real estate can be a part of a retirement strategy for some people because it may create income, appreciation, leverage, tax deductions. For a business owner, real estate might look like owning the building where your business operates. For a family, it might look like owning rental property. For someone else, it might look like downsizing strategically, house hacking, or simply understanding how their primary residence fits into the retirement picture. There are also a variety of real estate investments that you can invest in the market. The point is this: retirement strategy is bigger than your 401k statement. Your home, your real estate, your business, your taxable investments, your insurance, your Social Security, your pension, and all of your debt. That is why I do not like retirement conversations that only focus on one account, because your life is not one account. Now, let me touch on annuities because annuities gets a lot of mixed reactions. And some people hear annuities and immediately think absolutely not. Other people hear annuities and think guaranteed income sounds good to me. And the truth is, annuities are not automatically good or bad. They are contract, and the details matter. An annuity is typically issued by an insurance company and can be used for different purposes, including tax deferred growth, income planning, principal protection, and creating a stream of income in retirement. Now, I'm not going to give away the whole annuity conversation today because I'll do a full episode on annuities, how they work, the types of fees, the writers, surrender periods, the pros and cons, and all the myths. But for today, I want you to understand one important concept. Annuities can be funded with pre-tax or after-tax money, and that affects the tax treatment. If an annuity is held inside a traditional IRA or a qualified retirement account, that money is generally pre-tax money, and distributions are generally taxable when they come out. If an annuity is funded with after-tax money outside of a retirement account, then part of the distribution may represent your original principal and the other part may represent earnings. And the tax treatment can be different. That is why it is so important not just to ask, should I buy an annuity? The better questions are, what problem am I trying to solve? Do I need income I can outlive? Do I need some protection from the market loss? Do I need tax deferral? Do I understand the trade-offs with being in the market versus being in an annuity? And do I understand the access limitation? Do I understand the fees? And do I understand what is guaranteed and what is not? So annuities can help some people sleep at night. They can also be wrong for others. Again, it comes back to the strategy, not product first, strategy first. This conversation is especially important for women. We're managing our careers, our businesses, children, aging parents, household decisions. We're trying to also work in the community and often the emotional labor that keeps families moving. And because we are so busy, it's very easy to put retirement on autopilot. I hear a lot of women say, I'm contributing. I have something going into this account. I did what I was supposed to do. But blind investing is not a strategy. Putting $50 here, $100 there, or even $1,000 into an account and never checking where it's invested is not a strategy. Picking the default fund in your employer's plan and never reviewing it is not a strategy. Taking a risk quiz 10 years ago and never revisiting your allocation is not a strategy. And leaving an old 401k scattered from previous jobs and never coordinating them is not a strategy. It is a start, and starting matters. But at some point, we have to move from starting to stewarding. Stewarding means asking, is my money still aligned with my life? Has my income changed? Has my tax bracket changed? Has my business changed? And has my family situation changed? Sometimes our health can change and our retirement date can change. Your risk should change because the market changes. And as we can see today, inflation has changed. So women cannot afford to be passive with retirement planning because the stakes are too high. We often live longer. We experience career breaks. We may earn less during certain seasons. We may be carrying caregiving responsibilities. We may even become widowed or divorced. We may be the financial decision maker for ourselves and for other people. That means the strategy has to be intentional, not fearful nor complicated. It must be intentional. Here's one of the easiest ways to think about this. Your money needs maintenance, just like everything else you value. You do not buy a car and never change the oil. And you do not install a heating and air system in your home and never service it. As women, many of us understand the importance of our annual wellness visit. We go in not because something is wrong, but because we need to check. We need to see if anything has changed from the previous year. And if something has changed, we need a plan to address it. Your portfolio needs the same type of checkup, and your retirement strategy needs the same type of checkup. And let's not forget your tax plan needs that same type of checkup. The problem is that many people set up their 401k when they first started a job. You chose an investment option quickly, never looked at it again. Or you rolled over your old account, picked a fund, and left it alone. Or you could have opened up an IRA, you made your contribution and forgot to rebalance it. And sometimes nothing is wrong. Sometimes a lot has changed. Your age changed. Your goals may have changed. Your income has changed. Your business may have changed. And your tax situation could have changed. And we know the market has changed. Investment rates have changed. And we can feel now that inflation has changed. So why would the strategy stay the same? That is the heart of this episode. Strategy. Your retirement account may be open, but is your strategy current? Let me bring this back to New Orleans. That last minute trip was not a bad thing by itself. I'm not against having fun. And clearly, Essence Fest is not bad. I am a believer in living your life now while planning for the life you want to live later. But when spending is unplanned, when it is rushed, when it is emotional, and when it has not measured against your bigger priorities, it becomes a leap. The same is true in retirement planning. A pre-tax account is not bad. A Roth account is not automatically good. And life insurance is not automatically bad or good. Real estate is not automatically wealth building. Annuities are not automatically safe or unsafe. The leak happens when the tool is disconnected from the plan, when money goes somewhere because someone said it was a good idea, but no one ever asked whether it was a good idea for you. The leak happens when you do not know what your portfolio is invested in. Leaking happens when you have old accounts that are sitting around with no coordination. Leaks happen when you are overinsured, underinsured, and improperly insured. Leaks happen when you are investing but not reviewing your investment. And they happen when you are saving but not strategizing. And again, money leaks do not discriminate. They can happen to all of us. The goal is not perfection. The goal I want to address here is to be aware, be aligned, and take action. So, what should you be looking for in a retirement strategy checkup? Here's a few questions that I want to start with that I address in my book Plan for It. First, what accounts do you actually have? Not just the one you remember, but all of them. Your current 401k, old 401ks, IRAs, Roth accounts, taxables, annuities, life insurance, your Social Security estimate, your business retirement plan, real estate if you have it, and your savings and debt. It is amazing when I ask people this question because it triggers them to think about the old 401k they had that they forgot about. The second thing I want you to do is ask yourself, how is each account taxed? Do I have pre-tax accounts, Roth, after tax, taxable, tax deferred, or potentially tax free under certain rules? You want to know what tax bucket your money is invested in. Third, how is your money invested? Are you too aggressive or too conservative? Are you overlapping in the same funds in multiple places? Is your money sitting in cash without you realizing it? Are you still invested like you're 30 when you're 5 years away from retirement? Or are you too conservative when you still need growth? The fourth thing I want you to ask yourself, what income do you need in retirement? Not just a big account number, but a monthly income. What does your lifestyle cost? What does your healthcare cost? What does family support look like? What will housing look like for you? And what do you need to live with dignity and peace? The fifth question I want you to ask yourself, what risk could interrupt this plan? Risks like market risk, inflation, tax, longevity, you living too long, health risk, business risk, family responsibility, or emotional spending risk. And the last question I want you to ask yourself, what needs to be adjusted before the year ends? Things like contributions. Do I need to convert to a Roth? Do I need to change my payroll at work and adjust my tax withholdings? Have you estimated your taxes based on the income you've earned so far this year and expect to earn by the end of the year? Do you need insurance review? Do you need your investments reallocated? Do you have old accounts for rollovers? Do I need to update my beneficiaries? And do I have any cash flow leaks? This is not about making everything perfect in one meeting. This is about knowing where you stand and what needs attention. And this is why the fiduciary lens matters so much. When someone starts with the product, the conversation becomes, you need this annuity, you need this policy, you need this fund, you need this strategy because it sounds good. But when the conversation starts with the client, the questions are different. And you know the difference. I ask questions like, what are you trying to accomplish? What are you afraid of? What do you see yourself doing after retirement? What do you already have? What is working? What is leaking? And what are the tax consequences? You have to be knowledgeable of the trade off. And what happens if life does not go according to the plan? That is the difference between selling a product and building a strategy. I'm not against products. Products are tools and are necessary after the plan is completed. So do understand a Roth is a tool, a traditional IRA is a tool, real estate is a tool, and an annuity is a tool. But a tool without a plan can create confusion. This is why I love financial planning, because it brings all your money in concert to see what is working and what is not working. So we can then implement the tools once we are done with the plan to create a strategy. Remember, a tool in the wrong hands can create problems. So the goal is to use the right tool for the right reason at the right time in the right way. So here is your takeaway for today. Your 401k needs a strategy. Your IRA, your Roth, your life insurance, your real estate all need a strategy. And your annuity, if you have one or are considering one, needs a strategy. And your current lifestyle and future lifestyle need to be in conversation with each other, because the goal is not to stop enjoying life. The goal is to enjoy life with clarity. Sometimes that means taking the trip. Sometimes that means sleeping on it and realizing that the money has a different assignment. And sometimes that means increasing your contributions, adding Roth flexibility, looking at your insurance, evaluating your real estate and how you can build wealth through it. And sometimes that means considering guaranteed income options. And other times that might mean saying, I need a professional set of eyes on this because I have pieces, but I do not know if they are working together. So as we come to the end of this quarter, this is a great time to do a tax and wealth strategy checkup. So we can look at what has changed, what is working, and look at what is leaking. Then we can know what needs to be adjusted before the year gets away from you. If you need help reviewing your retirement strategy, tax picture, investment accounts, insurance, or overall plan, click the booking link in the show notes and schedule a time with me. We will look at where you are and what you are building and what needs to be aligned so your money is working for you now and later. Because money makers are action takers, and your future deserves more than a checkbox. It deserves a strategy. Thank you for listening to Intentional Wealth with Tiffany Tippins. This content is for educational purposes only. This episode is not individualized investment, tax, legal, or insurance advice. Consult with a qualified professional about your specific situation. If this episode helped you, share it with someone who has a retirement account but may not have a retirement strategy yet. And do not forget to check the show notes to schedule your tax and wealth strategy checkup.